Good evening, Speed Gaming, and welcome to another race as part of the Link to the Past Randomizer main tourney. Tonight we have the Boulder versus Alaszun, and this is a round 2 matchup. My name is Radical Sniper 99, and tonight I am joined by Xander Robotnik. How's it going?
I'm doing pretty good. Looking forward to this nighttime rando. Nice way to, round off the day before you go to bed. That being if you're, in the East Coast United States like I am, time zones. I know this could be a completely different time for you, but for me it's rando and then probably bedtime.
So both of our runners, as I said, this is our second round. In the first round, Alaszun took down Dracaris 2-0, while the Boulder took down T-Stew, also 2-0. Now, on the other side of this matchup, we actually already know who the opponent will be for the winner of this series. The winner will be going on to face Zelga Dasan, who took out Fear Agent in round 2. So we do know where they're going.
Right out of that first chest, we have a fire rod, so we're going to be burning down the castle as we head through escape here.
Yeah, we'll definitely pick up those two little magic pieces in the escape, just because, fire rod on ball and chain makes life a lot easier no matter what weapon we get off of the uncle. We've got a bomb start, so 10 bombs. I don't think we've seen this one too frequently, or at least I haven't for a lot of these races so far. Definitely a high skill weapon, but at least you got bombs.
Yeah, I'm with you about high skill. Like, if I ever get bombs as my only item, I would just be scared because I know once you're out of bombs, they're gone. So, yeah, that fire rod that came beforehand would give me a sigh of relief.
So luckily, the thing is about that, and especially I know Burna is one of the other ones that a lot of people kind of don't always like seeing in the start is if you die or if you run out, you can actually take a death or do a save and quit, and you'll get a refill on bombs or magic. And actually even arrows, so you do have a way to kind of recover if there's a problem.
And there's a moon pearl. Okay, so getting an interesting start of items here for sure.
Yeah, and I just have to commend what we saw from Alaszun there. That just shows the skill level we're talking here at this point in the tournament. Alaszun knowing exactly where to throw those two bombs just to get like that perfect, bounce from the first one into the second one. Now that that green guard there, Alaszun did a much more conventional thing. I saw this discussion going on a little earlier today in a Discord where people were saying, how do you handle the green guard? And some people say, oh, you try to get a nice throw. Other times you just have to face tank it.
And both of these runners doing what it takes, using those bombs. So they're sticking with bombs over fire rod. The face tanking getting a little nervous for Boulder here, getting a little low on health. It should be fine. We're gonna find just a key in Zelda's chest here. Alrighty.
Yeah, and the best thing is here, at least both of them were able to get through using the minimum. It's 5 bombs to get through all those enemies, and both of them were able to just do that completely. Now, the Boulder did decide to save this fire rod shot. I wonder if that might be to make the key rat a little bit easier, rather than going on the ball and chain. Because at this point, Alaszun does have 1 fire rod shot left. Boulder does have 2. And yeah, I definitely agree with the idea of collecting hearts. Like, that makes a lot of sense at this point. You know, Boulder was down to half a heart. You're going to want at least 2 full hearts going into the back here. But, you know, I'd pick up the pots and probably just still go with the fire rod shot to take down that ball and chain rather than having to go back and forth between the pots.
Yeah, you
So
can definitely see how much that back and forth has caused a bit of a gap to widen between these two during the escape sequence.
yeah. Still early, still plenty to get through in this seed. It's just, you know, these are the little things that you're going to start to notice going on between our runners. $100 there in the Dark Cross. Not a huge necessity, but appreciated before we get to Kakariko.
And as we go through this escape sequence, we've seen plenty of times. One of my favorite things to highlight about these runs is the sprites that get to be showcased. I see on the left side we have a Squirtle that Boulder is using. Do you know what Alaszun's sprite is this time around?
I believe that's a red mage. You're a fairly standard red mage from Final Fantasy, so... Oh, it's Freya from Final Fantasy IX. I apologize. Sorry, it looked very red magey to me.
Got it, outside my wheelhouse of games, but it's still a pretty cool looking sprite nonetheless.
Yeah, we got a lot of money to start, but not in the progression set, unfortunately. We did get a map check earlier from the Boulder, but Alaszun also doing one. We didn't mention it, but Eastern and Hera are crystals, and our green pendant is down at Desert Palace. I will say I do like the Squirtle sprite. I especially have fond feelings for the bunny sprite for Squirtle. Hopefully we get to see it somewhere along the way.
Lost Woods giving us a bloomerang, trying to see what. How's Boulder's heading up the same way, so neither of them are checking the lumberjack caves. So we're not really going to have that much information in terms of if this was going to be an Aghanim seed or not. So we'll have to wait and see for now.
Yeah, not too surprising here. A lot of runners will just tell you that is giving time away unless you have boots to want to check that. I'm a little surprised both runners are picking up that blue boomerang. Nice to have for stun prizes, but not really gonna do much at this point. But we are hitting Kakariko Village, so hopefully we start getting something. We don't really have many options yet.
And the nice thing is we're entering here with full of bombs, full of money, so we're going to be able to clear out just about everything as we head through CAC. Just money and a piece of heart so far, some arrows, and a shield as we head to the back here.
Yes, if you haven't been watching the main tourney yet, and there's a lot to catch up on if you haven't, but the mode is hard standard. What that means is it was a standard start with a random weapon on the uncle. From there, it is a 7-7. Get the 7 crystals, go up GT, and then defeat Ganon. It's the hard item pool, which means no butter sword, no silver arrows, no armor upgrades, no mirror shield, and a maximum of 14 hearts. And there we go with our glove. 2/3 of Dark World.
And the other piece of interest Alaszun found there was bombos. So that could be useful as we see what dungeons are going to require to get in. And half magic from the bottle vendor there, too. That's pretty convenient to have.
Yeah, that's a great find, just for the fact that I wouldn't be surprised to see, possibly see our runners head to Mini Moldorm Cave, and that at least means Fire Rod will be a really useful weapon to deal with the Mini Moldorms.
And on Alaszun's screen there, if you just saw, it said it was a green rupee with a 20 next to it. So what that tells us is that was an item that, due to the hard pull, got replaced by just money. So at this point, since we haven't found that much, I believe that had to have been a tunic, correct?
Yes. So that's the important thing to keep in mind, is that while we cannot get like the butter sword or the silver arrows, both bows, all 4 swords are placed. It's just that as soon as you find that third sword, the 4th one becomes a green 20, or the second bow becomes a green 20. Which has played a visual trick on a lot of our runners in this tournament so far, as if the silver arrows are out in the open, you can actually see silver arrows. But if you pick them up, they sadly turn into a green 20.
That's such a sad mirage.
It is.
Right there. I just want it, please.
Now, Alaszun did decide to just gamble on race game being something. I wonder if that's just because of how relatively dry our Kakariko village was. Glove's nice, Bombos is useful, but it doesn't really give us much in terms of immediate progression right now. With our runners heading towards South Shore and the dam.
Oh, I feel kind of bad finding those 3 bombs in the dam there, because both runners opted to spend some money to refill their bombs. Though with how much change they got in their pockets, that's not like much of a dent, so it's not a big deal.
Yeah, we'll hope to see, there's a possibility for a fake flipper coming up just because we have that pearl, so that does mean we can get into the Zora waterfall check. But we'll see if we get any more money to make Zora an option. Alaszun picking up that bug net off of the sunken treasure. And so is the boulder. So we both, we're picking up some utility items, but not real progression yet. Meanwhile, Boulder also checked our bush crabs, finding out we have 8 bomb packs under the bush crabs. And that was a flute. So real heads up play here, or more normal play from Alaszun here. Gonna go and activate that flute immediately. As well as the boulder, it looks like. So this is definitely quicker. If you're going to do Ice Rod Cave right afterwards, you do want to activate that flute first before walking to Ice Rod Cave. And yeah, this does make a few checks a lot more convenient. Ice Rod Cave and Agina are a lot easier with this. And I'm surprised by the routing here. I'm not sure which is actually quicker. Would you happen to know?
I do not, although I feel like the boulder got there faster, right? Because
yeah, it did look like that. It did look like
they kind of synced them up.
That definitely seemed to be a time save for the boulder. By comparison, Alaszun, I've not seen a lot of runners start at Link's house to head up that way.
I'm curious if Alaszun was possibly going to go to Eastern, but then right as they started and they realized, oh, I have the flute. Let's make use of it real quick. That's my only guess of why they went there, or they could have just been unaware of which is faster.
So here we go with a little bit more divergence. The Boulder going straight for Agina as this is a great play as, you don't know when you're going to hit Agina easily, but with that flute, it makes it really quick to get over here. Also got to scope out the desert ledge. Nothing there this time.
Meanwhile, Alaszun showing us how it's done. No lantern, making their way through the dark caves of Death Mountain, just for some bombs so far, unfortunately.
Yeah, we don't have a lot of options on this Death Mountain check. So Alaszun's not even going to check Spectacle Rock. Meanwhile, the Boulder is kind of going through some of these one-offs before going to a more dense play. And I can't blame the Boulder for this move. It definitely makes sense to try to tick these boxes. As the Boulder does dance around those crabs, they do 2 hearts of damage. But Ice Rod Cave also not paying out today. Well, not in the sense we wanted. So where do you go after this?
Looks like the Boulder's answer is Eastern, and Alaszun's is Ice Rod.
I mean, at this point, Eastern is our densest area. We've got those 3 items in Sahasrah's closet, as well as at least probably access to 2 items in Eastern, possibly 3. Logically, maybe only 1, but I can't imagine either runner is not going to go for the vanilla big key chest. Well, and that sword is very nice in Sahasrah's closet.
Yeah, I'd be definitely happy to find it as well. And the Boulder, now the Boulder's going up the mountain. So the one thing we get to see that the Boulder's going to do, I imagine, is they don't have a lamp, but they can at least make a little sparklies on the end of their sword to kind of help guide them through the darkness here.
Yeah, that's definitely one of those very common little tricks, just to have that little bit of visual cue. Alaszun used bombs for theirs, but I do like, I love that sword usage, always. Now, I gotta imagine Alaszun is gonna just continue into Eastern Palace, probably, to check that, because it's either that or Spectacle Rock.
Or if they really wanted to, we haven't seen fake flippers from either of these runners yet. So there's a couple checks there, though, out of logic.
Yeah, and I know, I saw it in chat earlier, people talking about Zora. Yes, Zora is in logic with that glove, but we're still a little short on the money. Oh, and our stun prize is 20 rupees.
Alaszun definitely very happy to find that out. Cashes it. They're cashing in Zora right now.
Yep.
Wow.
And I missed it as we were kind of focused on that stun prize, but I'm hearing that we have a hookshot in Spectacle Rock. We do have a hookshot
like
in Spectacle Rock.
Wow. Alaszun didn't go up there. That's going to be interesting how that plays out.
Yeah, because this is huge density now for the Boulder. You have access to the 7 items in Paradox Cave as well as Spiral Cave. So lots of items here available for the Boulder. And yes, that item is completely in logic based on the fact that we had the flute. while the old man rescue was not without a lamp, technically the hook shot being inside of Spectacle Rock is in logic right now, so we'll see what that leads to.
Oh, and Alaszun getting stuck on the rocks, gets hit when they fake flippered. That's a death. Ooh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, that's a rough one. Unfortunately, as I'm sure so many runners are aware, Fake Flipper does put you in a one-hit KO state, so you got to be really careful with that. And that was our lamp out of the lower Paradox? The two-chest room of Paradox Cave giving us our lamp. Oh no.
Okay, cape, book, mushroom. All right, couple interesting things here in these chests. Nothing like blowing the seed wide open quite yet, but definitely giving the boulder a few options.
So, I'm sure the alarm bells are going off, and yeah, I see it in chat. Everybody's going, Aga, Aga. And unfortunately, I don't think any of these other items are kind of making you think maybe not, because I see a glove and I see a hook shot, and one of my first thoughts is that's my way across to North Dark World, and that's our ice rod on the floating island.
And
We
that
also
was
had,
was that ether?
I thought it was Ether Medallion.
Yeah. Can't get it yet, but knows it's there now. Round and round Boulder goes through the spiral for a piece of heart.
So at this point, we've got one, potentially two items, maybe even three actually, depending on the key logic of Desert Palace. Desert Palace is going to be our last chance to get out of an Aga seed at this point. We did see everything from Alaszun. Oh wait, sorry, and Eastern. My bad. So we've got Eastern or Desert to take us out of this this Aga seed.
We're about to get both of them checked simultaneously here. This is going to be interesting.
Yeah, I like the Boulder going with this Desert play at this point. You know, the play up the mountain gave this kind of item layout, so why not go with it and find out what we can do. And yes, there are technically two items. Oh man, those Igors are just bullying. Okay, so we are not boots locked to technically kill, well, to kill Landmolus, but we might be, okay, we are not boots locked in Desert Palace, so that means not only are we able to get the two items in this dungeon, we can actually get the green pendant for our third item check here. So yeah, Boulder is definitely going to go for the full clear of this dungeon.
A couple chests in. Alaszun's not finding anything too interesting in Eastern yet. I wonder if they're getting a little worried about that one check they missed up on Death Mountain inside Spectacle Rock.
Yeah, it's definitely hard to not feel like you're missing something on this. And yeah, this is a surprising play from the Boulder, to be honest. I would definitely have said go and get the clear here. Because as we've seen so far, we are definitely quite a ways away from, or we don't have a lot left So I think there's a good chance the Boulder might have to go back into Desert to check Landmo and eventually Green Pendant. But did do a save scum of our Mushroom.
It looks like they're just going to commit to the Aga play.
It's a gamble, but I can't blame him for this. We haven't really seen much out of Eastern, so... And it's not Eastern. So the question is, could we have avoided Aga if the Landmo kill had it? But we're not going to get to find that out, at least until possibly Alaszun goes for it.
I like the Boulder making use of that bug net, nabbing a fairy.
As Alaszun is about to get that hook shot, probably not too pleased to have skipped it earlier, but gonna be able to get a few checks soon. And okay, so we are getting a save and quit. I believe this is actually quicker to get back up on the mountain rather than going through the drop down and everything else. And no, we have not seen Sick Kid, actually. The Boulder did get that bottle and did not go for the check. So we definitely have a few checks still on the table here. So here's the question, Xander. After we get into Dark World, if you're the Boulder, where are you going?
I'm thinking, do we really have that many options? Oh, we have hook shots, so we can go across. Or we do have our way towards pod. I don't know. I'll say pod this time around. I don't know. Where would you go, you think?
Yeah, that's the hard part, is we've definitely seen throughout this tournament that this is the kind of play that can really make a difference going into it. I think depending on what Skull Woods is, and I might actually make the play up to Skull because we do have Fire Rod, but that's also a question of comfort. And yeah, no potion. The Boulder has that fairy. You can do a death. You can use actually a death manipulation to get over to it, or use that to get the same camera unlock glitch. We've actually seen it happen, but it is a little bit harder to pull off. But here we go with that Aghanim fight, or Aghanim fight. And the 15 dream is already dead, so.
I'm curious to see what Alaszun does from here. Are they feeling a little behind? Do they maybe want to go to Aghanim quicker than the Boulder did, like do a few fewer checks? Starting with the Mushroom, though. So I do want to check this. It was just bombs, though, so nothing too great here.
Meanwhile, Alaszun heading into Desert Palace. I think we're going to get a full clear from Alaszun here. Definitely has been pretty thorough here, and is probably trying to really avoid that Aga play. But the Boulder is through Aga into Dark World. What do we got in the pyramid? as we do check our map, I did see a red crystal down there at Swamp Palace, and I missed our other 2 pendants. I'm guessing it was Pod and Turtle Rock, though.
That is correct. So maybe Pod's not looking like that great of an idea after all.
Well, I will agree with you on this one, but I do know there are a lot of people who swear that Pendant Pod always has progression, so...
Interestingly, starting up here with Catfish, it's a decently out-of-the-way check for only 1 item, and without Mirror, we can't go to Zora afterwards either, so... Going a little out of the way for a single check, but who knows, it could be the check the Boulder needs.
Yeah, and Catfish is really easy to kind of orphan up here, so especially when you finish an Agaseed, this is, or when you're in what you believe to be an Agaseed, you almost gamble this. Or not even gamble, it feels like a safe play to check this out. Yeah, that was both items out of Desert. I'm still curious about why the Boulder decided not to go for Green Pendant, but it's not looking like the worst idea yet.
Reading the items they've gotten thus far, they got a lot of the Aghanim required items like back to back, so I'd say it makes sense, but I know a lot of people avoid Aghanim seeds just because they don't do that fight because it's so time consuming and there's no items on the climb up. So if you can avoid it, it feels so much nicer to get an item to be able to skip it. So I'm hoping Alaszun clears everything out, including the bottle check as well. Because yeah, I want to know, was this possibly not Aghanim required?
Yeah, we're 1 item from not having to have this be an Agaseed. And while it is taking Alaszun a lot longer to make these checks, you kind of expect, you just want to go for this and find out.
We got 2, right? Sick Kid is also looming over us as a possibility.
Yeah, those are our 2 options. And that B is going to business on not just that 1 room, but it is following us. That is because, of course, of the super tiles that we're on. So yeah, Mitts or Hammer is our Dark World access if it is not an Agaseed.
And the Boulder opting for that Skull Woods play. Found a key so far. There's 2 items, I believe, in here.
Yes, 2 items for Skull Woods. Yeah, and that's chat bringing this up, you know, if Green Pendant is the progression, if Green Pendant is the answer here for Dark World access, when will we see the Boulder head back to Desert? Because realistically, there is a chance that either Hammer or the other glove is in Dark World, but it'll be a lot harder for the Boulder to want to come back to this.
Okay,
So,
Green Pendant's our last hope.
Alaszun is running down every lead before going for Aga. Can't blame him for this play. You know, you really want to go for it. And yes, we have seen everything. We saw Sick Kid. We saw, and it's an Agaseed.
Gotta be wondering what Alaszun's thinking here. Like, well, I wonder if, how confident are they that Boulder, maybe did Aga and now they feel really far behind, or maybe, I don't know. It's definitely an unfortunate situation to be in mentally for Alaszun.
Now, Alaszun did purchase a blue potion. I wonder if this could be a thought to head over to Palace of Darkness right afterwards.
If so, they may not be too happy to see it's a pendant, or by the logic of pendant, pot always has something. Maybe they will be happy.
Yeah, we could see a pod gamble from Alaszun, and I've definitely seen a lot of seeds where there's something there. So Alaszun making the play through Aga as the Boulder did finish up Skullwoods for the first crystal of this race. Not our first boss, but definitely a nice crystal clear there.
All right, unfortunately, I don't think I've seen any items yet, but there's at least one left, possibly both items still to be found in here in Skullwoods.
Yeah, we definitely did get that one with those 3 bombs. And the seed is really making us work for the second item with it being behind our big key now.
At least that means the Boulder gets to show off a bomb jump for us.
Just have to be a little careful here, down to 1 heart and another bottle.
All right, now it's Alaszun's turn to do Aghanim. And the Boulder staying on the west side of the map, going to go through Village of Outcast here. I imagine headed to Thieves Town as well to see what they can see what he can find.
Yeah, I'm guessing we're going to get at least the front 4 of Thieves. We might not see the back waiting for that hammer, but we'll see what happens. The Boulder does have to be a little careful here, down to 1 heart, although I believe the Boulder still has that fairy from the Aga Tower climb.
That sounds right to me, yes.
Meanwhile, Alaszun does take down Aga, so he is now into Dark World as well. And we're about to find out, was that potion for the pod play?
And the Boulder got a red cane from the shed at the bottom of the village there. So he's starting to find some goodies in here as they dip Thieves Town for the other lift upgrade. There's Titansmiths. And it looks like you were right. The divergence is happening. Alaszun's heading to pod, so that could be what the potion's for.
Boulder riding this one heart through the front of Thieves has just been, or for the last few minute or so here, has been very scary, but very adeptly getting through here. And it looks like the Boulder is going to continue through Thieves Town.
All right, and if you're rooting for Alaszun, here's the point where you hope there better be something in pod, because if not, this is just going to be more setback for him, sinking time into something useless. So let's see if there's something good.
Well, for one thing, we were not bow locked. At least to start.
There's keys on keys so far in pod. Very common start.
Yeah, and I think Alaszun's still just going to go and check the right side of Palace of Darkness anyway, or that bow lock side. Vanilla big key. And the small keys keep coming, so we are not bow locked here in Palace of Darkness. Now the question is, were we technically hammerlocked here? And we know that the small key is going to lock itself in Thieves Town, so dungeon technically hammerlocked, but not a problem.
And the Boulder back down to one house for this boss fight. I'm a little nervous, but there is a nice... Oh, they got a cape. Okay, never mind. They're good.
Cape and a fairy, so plenty of safety. As Alaszun finds our Sanctuary Heart in the Pod Dark Maze. Kane of Samaria was in the brewery in Village of Outcasts.
Alaszun opting to Death Warp out of that maze. Totally understandable. It's not fun to have to go through there. And they're going to head over to the bow locked side of pod. See if there's anything nifty back there.
Yeah, Alaszun, clearing a lot early But unfortunately, we're starting to get down to just, it's looking like the skips from the boulder have really paid off quite a bit. And there's our camera unlock over in the Bowlock side of pod to get all 3 of our mimics off screen. Oh, and hey, there's our Quake medallion.
So with that, we know where all 3 medallions are. The boulder has yet to head up to Zora's waterfall, so he doesn't know, but we do.
Yeah, and unfortunately, pod didn't pay out at all today.
Yeah, an unfortunate setback. That's now 2 pendant dungeons Alaszun has sunk time into with really nothing too nice to come from it.
Yeah, and unfortunately, this is just the nature of Rando, really. You talk to a lot of runners, and, sometimes this is just how a seed starts panning out, and you just kind of have to play through it and hope that, your opponent, your opponent's going through the same thing, and just becomes a question of who makes the play.
All right, how about Hype Cave? We're gonna have anything good in here? The boulder's gonna find heart container, arrows, money, heart piece, and a sword. I'll take the sword.
Yeah, second sword is nice. And yes, as Chad is pointing out, we are very close to being able to confirm that Pet is dead. It's not truly dead yet. It looks like it can only be the flippers at this point, but it is looking very unlikely to be required.
And the boulder happy to find that that's just a heart container, because that was like one of the couple checks he knows he had left before doing Aghanim. He's like, okay, I probably had to do an Aghanim.
So at this point, I gotta wonder if you're in the boulder's position. That's what I was about to say. Mire area, here we come. You've got all the items to clear the inside of Mire. The question is, can you get in? And we do know where Ether is. Ether is on the Zora ledge.
I believe I saw Bombos.
It didn't look like an Ether, I can tell you that much. And that's a mirror out of our Mire shed, so...
So it's Mirror Shed is what you're saying. Silence is the correct response, by the way. Good job. All right, how about Checkerboard Cave? We gonna have anything good back here? Just another red rupee.
Yeah, I think we're gonna see Misery Mire from the boulder at this point. Makes a lot of sense. It's a fully clearable crystal dungeon with the cape and half magic. Vitreous shouldn't be too tough of a fight. So this is an ideal situation for the boulder. Meanwhile, Alaszun going through Skull Woods, about to get his first crystal as well, so gonna start making those same plays. Does decide to take a death warp to get that health refill. And the quicker warp back to the front of this rear portion of Skull.
Yeah, while they're doing that, I was checking out chat. I noticed there were a couple folks trying to figure out how to keep the Dream of Pedestal alive, and a few really evil people were saying, well, what if Boots are on pedestal for Ganon's Tower boss key on the torch?
Wow. I'm gonna say, you got an Agaseed. Let's have some compassion here.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I don't know what time it is for them, but I probably want to go to bed not too late, you know?
I mean, especially for Alaszun at this point, just all the things that... Maybe that actually works out better for Alaszun having cleared Desert and already done all of Palace of Darkness. Like, if this starts getting down to that moment, that could be a really helpful time for Alaszun to catch up, but we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, and both of these runners finished Skull Woods without having the mirror, so they weren't able to sneak a peek at the pedestal either. So we're not going to know for a while, unless like it's unlikely to see boots required there. It's a very slim chance. So flippers is probably the greatest chance, although that's ruled out if ether ends up being required to get inside of T-Rock. So there's easy ways to rule them both out and have it not be a pedestal. You never know until the last moment, though.
Now, the boulder is full clearing Misery Mire here. There is an item there in our vanilla big key location with that heart container. The boulder moving on to 11 hearts now. Alaszun at 10, so we are getting that health at least.
Yeah, we're nearing that 14 heart max that the hard item pool limits us to. So we'll see if you think we're going to hit it this time?
I'd be surprised if we didn't. On at least one runner. I mean, we are still a long way from go mode at this point. And there's our second item out of Misery Mire. So Mire was not the answer. I mean, mirror's good. Don't get me wrong. And it was a crystal, so that's great pieces. But where are we off to next? We can clear Tower of Hera.
That's where I was thinking next, actually. Yeah, we can go up there. We have the book and sword to get the tablet up there, too.
And then we've got all the checks on Dark Death Mountain in Hookshot Cave, as well as Super Bunny.
And if you're feeling really crazy while you're up there, you might even be able to pay a visit to Turtle Rock.
Yeah, depending on that hammer and the Turtle Rock medallion, gotta wonder, if you get a hammer, are you heading... No. I was about to say it, but you wouldn't do it, would you? You get hammered, do you go into Turtle Rock if you can get in?
If you have hammer, I feel like there's other things you could prioritize instead. I don't know. Well,
here's my logic here. So, hear me out. you know, I would think one of your options, of course, is to go to Ice Palace, because we do know that it's a crystal. But at the same time, you know you need flippers, and you're not getting flippers in Ice Palace. So, you know, I feel like there's a good reason to possibly dive our third pendant dungeon here.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. There's a decent number of items in there, and then you also have Mimic Cave, which is basically part of Turtle Rock as well. So very well could be. I mean, the first two had nothing. Maybe when Alaszun gets around to that point, they'll be like, surely the third one has to have something, right? And he'll
Right. And down goes Vitreous. The Boulder taking out some Cape Strats in there. Nicely done. And that will be a third crystal for the Boulder. And Alaszun is leaving Thieves Town. Now, luckily for Alaszun, this is not a bad idea. Technically, Thieves Town did not have anything else. So, great moment for Alaszun to just go and leave. Hopefully comes back, or is able to come back with something like boots to make that dungeon a lot faster. So, great news. Alaszun did get the Titans Mints out of the front of Thieves Town. So,
And the Boulder making friends with a couple of fellow Boulders heading down the mountain. And it looks like that Hera and Dark Death Mountain play is looking like what we're about to see from this little squirrel over here.
Yeah, we did have Chad actually mention a very different way of routing this, actually doing the Dark Death Mountain plays first. And then mirroring on that Dark Death Mountain bridge along the top to get over to Tower of Hera. There's definitely some good reason to think of doing that, because if the boots, for example, were over on Dark Death Mountain, could really speed up Tower of Hera. But here we go. Ether Tablet has $50. We did get a small key in the basement there, and there's our bow. Boulder setting up for Herapot here. Looks good. Yep, first attempt on that bomb Herapot.
Definitely a cool trip to see. Skipping a visit to the basement.
Just gonna have to hope that the big chest does not have our second item at this point. So, is Moldorm the keeper of our second item, or is this going to be in the big chest? Oh no, the Boulder getting hit by Moldorm there, and unfortunately that means we're going to get the 2-floor drop.
All right, Alaszun turning in the Swordsmith. Wonder where he's going to decide to head next.
So we're gonna get a bottle refill, as those bombs just sit there. Those poor bombs. Please. Alaszun, you were down at 4 bombs.
The Boulder getting his revenge on Moldorm to find that they don't have to come back. They're happy to see that.
Yep.
He's happy, I'm sure.
So that is 4th crystal for the Boulder. He does have access to a 5th with Eastern Palace now being clearable, so we are definitely just down to 2 items for go mode. Just looking for a hammer and flippers.
Now, being in these runners' shoes, which item do you hope to find first?
I think I'm gonna say flippers, to be honest. Hammer opens up too much.
That's what I'm thinking too.
If you want to avoid having to go into Turtle Rock, flippers opens up a lot less, or a lot quicker checks. If you find hammer first, or you find flippers first, you got that. If you find the hammer, the whole world opens up a ton right now. So I think I'm hoping for flippers. I mean, I'll take a sword. Sure.
Yeah, sword first. Yeah, that's what I meant.
Tempered sword. Everybody loves tempered sword.
Yeah, that's as strong of a sword as we're going to get, though. That hard setting on it.
We did get a full pod check from Alaszun. Unfortunately, nothing in pod. So... our red boomerang. But other than that, bone, nothing really here on Dark Death or Death Mountain or Dark Death Mountain. And Bombos for Turtle Rock, so the dream still somehow lives for chat.
Yeah, it's not a big deal, but one interesting little thing to point out. We know that Ice Rod is on that island up in the mountains that we could have gotten to through Hookshot Cave, but the Boulder chose not to grab it. They can probably easily pick it up if they feel the need to visit Turtle Rock later, but just one thought I was like, I wonder if he's going to do it, and he didn't.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, unless you are specifically going to go into Turtle Rock later, you just don't even consider the Ice Rod as an item. It's just there, and you know where it is in case you need to go into Turtle Rock. But until that time, you don't even look at it. So I do like this play from the Boulder. He didn't go into Eastern earlier, completely avoided it. I think he's got to be wondering, oh my gosh, did I miss a hammer in here? And this wasn't an Aga Seed. He'll be really pleased to find out that it wasn't in Eastern, but you know, this is the right play for him. He can full clear this dungeon, get the 3 items out of it, so great time to go here.
Yeah, and I noticed he chose just to go directly here without setting like a mirror portal by pod. So that tells me he probably doesn't want to go to pod next, although I guess a quick flute trip could bring him right back. I'm wondering if he has a next location to head to after finishing up in Eastern here.
Yeah, that's definitely got to be going through his mind, is, you know, if I don't find something here, where am I going? Because he is starting to get down to not as great of checks. We know that pot is not the answer, but what we don't know for sure is, you know, is it Graveyard Ledge? Is it Cave 45? Is it Bombos Tablet? Is it Purple Chest? Those are, you know, we still have the option of Armos at this point having it, but we're running out of easy, dense checks to make.
Yeah, the timing for when these runners got mirror does make a few, like they like unintentionally sort of orphaned a few mirror-based checks, like around graveyard, like you said, K45, stuff like that. So it is a few awkward, like here and there, sporadic things. So that yeah, the density is definitely running thin.
Well, Alaszun finishing up is in the Dark Mire basement, working his way up to Vitreous. Once again, having that cape and half magic does mean that Vitreous is a relatively straightforward fight to deal with.
Where do you think Alaszun goes next after Meyer then?
I wouldn't be surprised to see a Dark Death Mountain play, to be honest. That's probably the densest area for Alaszun, and it's also another crystal. Alaszun parking right in front of the big eye there, and the boulder is now on to Armos, so gonna get to find out what is on this boss. Just a piece of heart, so whatever progression is, it's got to be one of those mirror checks at this point. So where are you gonna go? Looks like we're gonna get this purple chest to K45 down to Bombo's tablet. Maybe a graveyard ledge check beforehand?
Oh, I didn't realize Alaszun hadn't dipped checkerboard cave over heading into Meyer, so gotta take one last quick stop before fluting away here. Let's see where he goes.
And it is up the mountain, so no real surprises here. Now, does Alaszun go straight for Hera or decide to check out Dark Death Mountain first? And Alaszun is going for Tower of Hera as well.
And the boulder is sneaking in a quick little check on graveyard ledge, as you suggested. Definitely, got it.
This location is definitely one of those out of the way ones. Oh, that's there. So we have magic powder. The bat is in logic.
Hammerless bat is such an awkward little. It's not that tough, but it's just a little awkward. So I'm kind of happy to see this. The bat is actually like my favorite check in the entire game. So I'm hoping it pays off today because I feel like it hardly ever does.
And honestly, hammerless bat is always a fun one to get to see how CR runners potentially do. Could be a big play. Unfortunately, it's a little annoying for portals because of the fact that it means you do have to sort of abandon a portal. I think the boulder forgot he had already done the smith.
It's looking like it, yeah. Not that costly.
No,
maybe a little frustrating, but not a big deal.
It's definitely one of those. You've been in this race, and it's a little rough at times because you're just like, I'm making these checks, and that's just, you know, you just have that moment where we're like, oh, I already did that one.
Yep, Alaszun setting up for Harapot, gets it nice and clean.
And it is not on the bat. Now, is the Boulder going to get back into Dark World here? Because, yep, it looks... Maybe? Are we going to get the bomb? Okay, we're not getting Bombo's tablet.
He found the hammer. It's
Yep,
hammer
there.
first.
And the Boulder is really having a tough time thinking here on this one. This is a tough one. Where do you go? Heading up Death Mountain. This looks like it could be a TR, or maybe not. Or it is? Yeah, this is a tough decision. I don't blame the Boulder at all for not, knowing what to really want to go for. And yes, so at this point, we know that Flippers, like, you are going to go mode Ice Palace and Swamp Palace, so you don't even touch them out of logic at this point. They have no value to you at all. Question is, well, I have to believe the Boulder might go for the safety of getting that Ice Rod before heading into Turtle Rock, just in case. I mean, realistically, you think the Flippers are going to show up much earlier in Turtle Rock, but I feel like you got to just play it safe, and yep, the Boulder is going to pick up that Ice Rod just in case here.
I'm definitely aligned with that plan. The thought of having even the slightest chance of trekking your way all the way through Turtle Rock a second time just sounds too obnoxious.
And really, at this point, Alaszun is kind of just following behind the Boulder's plays here. And it makes sense. This seed has been very, very linear. There's not been a lot of chance for divergence.
Yeah, for sure. It'll be interesting to see if Alaszun ends up being just a little bit more thorough with overworld checks and finding flippers somewhere out there instead of just taking the hammer and committing directly into Turtle Rock like the Boulder's doing.
Yeah, I know chat was pointing out, if KE45 had those flippers, this could really make a big difference. Because realistically, I wouldn't be surprised that if the flippers are not here in Turtle Rock, that the Boulder heads straight for Palace of Darkness as the density play. Desert Palace was not boots locked at all. The map was on the Desert Palace torch today. Alaszun setting up for that Armos quick kill, and very nicely executed by Alaszun there, as Alaszun does reach that 14 hearts. So we do get a full heart compliment on Alaszun's side. The Boulder 1 heart away from that.
Yep, so we may be seeing plenty of green 20s on both of these runners' screens here, and there's in these checks as we keep going.
So if Alaszun decides to skip Graveyard Ledge, we'll probably get to see that Bombos tablet NK45. This could really make a big difference if that is the play for the flips.
I tried to sneak a peek at the Squirtle bunny sprite. It was on there too short. I didn't see what I was looking at.
It's a Squirtle Squad Squirtle.
Oh, that is fantastic.
Yeah, and Alaszun going for Thieves Town at this point.
It slipped my mind that he hadn't cleaned that up yet. At this point, I'm trying to think what's it going to take for Alaszun to be able to close the gap that they have right now behind the Boulder. And really, it comes down to nothing like flippers not being in Turtle Rock and Alaszun probably never dipping here.
Pretty much, like, if this is the answer, the Boulder's going to have a massive lead at this point. And yeah, K45 and Bombos are really the two big ones. Unfortunately, the Palace of Darkness play and the Land Molus kill from Alaszun earlier in this race is really kind of making a big difference. Boulder making a very heads-up play there, grabbing the TR big chest first, just in case it had go mode, being able to possibly save a mirror transition, but it wasn't there, so we are going to get to see Mimic Cave.
And as he gets deeper and deeper into Turtle Rock, you gotta wonder if the Boulder's getting a little nervous with these flippers not showing up yet.
Yeah, it was a mountain trip, and you always have to kind of be worried when you make an extra climb up Death Mountain and possibly not get anything. But there they are. Those are the flippers in the Crystal Roller Room of TR. And at 1 hour, 18 minutes, and 20 seconds, the Boulder has entered go mode. So the Boulder is heading directly to Swamp Palace and is just going to go for this. This is a go mode Swamp and a go mode Ice Palace for our 6th and 7th crystals.
And the Boulder's definitely going to be happy he gets to go mode both of these dungeons. And Alaszun gets another crystal, finishing up Thieves Town.
Yep, that is crystal number 5 for Alaszun, so You know, just a little bit behind. We're tied in the crystal count, but that hammer and flippers that the Boulder has collected are really the big difference right now.
Looks like he might be heading for that hammer, though.
Yeah, and what you want to see here from Alaszun is that, you know, we're about to see the hammer on that purple chest. If K45 and or Bombo's tablet has the boots, it's a help. I wouldn't say it's enough to change, you know, any sort of lead, but it's an out for Alaszun at this point. Because this is definitely a rough lead for Alaszun to be able to come back from. Yeah, and as chat's saying, this is, you know, is it a 1 in 22 in the GT Vicky? And I get that that's a very, very, very remote possibility, but that's kind of what we're looking for Alaszun to be able to make this comeback right now. Flippers are in the crystal roller room of Turtle Rock, so... But here we
On
go,
the
Bombo's
Boulder.
tablet.
Boulder showing off diver down, heading into the back of swamp here, not draining the water.
And nothing on Bombos, and nothing in our diver down there with the flooded chests. And Alaszun actually heading straight for Ice Palace.
Now we know go mode can't be found here for Alaszun because it's flippers and it's flippers locked. Be interested to see, are they just go moding this to kind of give themselves a little bit of break, maybe autopilot it for a bit while they come up with their next plan of attack, you know?
Yeah, I mean, possibly if boots are in here, it makes the climb back up Turtle Rock a little bit faster and feel a little less bad, but we know we're not getting anything out of here necessary. Yeah, I'm not sure about this play. I mean, what are we looking for?
Okay, they are doing the break in on the right side here to kind of get to the
Yeah.
back. My guess is they're doing a sort of pseudo go mode and hope maybe they get a convenience item like boots as they head towards Cold Stare.
Meanwhile, the Boulder is just, you know, running through this. Already done with Swamp Palace. Really nice dungeon when you can just go mode. And equally nice over here with Ice Palace now.
Very interesting to see after all the difference in, like, the Boulder is further ahead, and yet these runners are sort of syncing up being in the same dungeon. Kind of unique situation to run into.
And there's Arcana Burna. So the boulder is hitting this switch just to be able to not have to find the big key here in Ice Palace. But still gonna check a few chests along the way.
Maybe they've got that thought of the very off chance boots requirement in the back of their head. Probably just hoping for boots in general.
Yeah, boots are nice. I'm not gonna say, you know, I don't think this is like you worry about that 1 in 22 chance too much, but it does make a lot of the climb a lot easier. There are definitely many rooms in GT that both of these runners will benefit from having them. So
All right, Alaszun, where are you heading now? He's not ready to go up the mountain.
yeah, and I'm not surprised by this. Alaszun has been up the mountain 3 times in this seed. Once taking the old man, again for that hook shot in Spectacle Rock and all of East Death Mountain, and then a 3rd time for the Hera and Dark Death Mountain plays.
Plus, he's been burned by the other 2 pendant dungeons. He wants to not get burned again, but unfortunately, in avoiding it, is getting burned. Doing the hammer pegs, no boots. It's just hurts to see sometimes, but you know, I'm just hoping. I'm hoping Alaszun finds the boots somewhere. That'd be a nice little thing for him. And blink and you'll miss it. The boulder just took out Cold Stare, nice and easy.
Yep, and that means we are going to be heading back up Death Mountain one final time for the boulder into Ganon's Tower, and that, of course, great game. Unfortunately, no bot, of course, right now, but 1 to 22. Where's that big key? What's your guess tonight, Xander?
See, I'm gonna sound evil saying this, but I swear it's innocent. My favorite check is that torch.
I've seen a lot of people saying torch here in chat tonight. Chat is out for blood and they want it. And yes, a big thing to remember is that if this is a somehow 1 in 22 chance, there is a high likelihood that our boots are in GT. Technically, none of this seed was boots locked, so they could be there.
Or for those of you that are more devilishly inclined, they could also be on pedestal.
Oh boy. It just never dies. It's always partly alive for people.
I say let them have their dreams.
Sorry, I'll always believe it's a nightmare. Being on both sides, you know, being in the commentary, being in chat, and being a runner, it's just not fun. That's one of those things you hate to see.
You're definitely not wrong. If it does happen, I would feel so bad.
So Alaszun heading up Death Mountain as well. Gonna go into Turtle Rock at this point, and we're gonna find out. You know, gonna get those flippers to get into go mode. And for the boulder, what do we got? with our GT play.
Where are you hoping the big key's gonna be?
I'll go the opposite direction, but equally evil. Let's just call it tile room tonight.
Okay, so you're not completely innocent in all this, then I don't feel so
No,
bad.
I'm good for some extension of this, but not terribly so. Boulder is going to check right side first in Hope Room. I like the check. We get a small key and the map, and the Boulder is going to go left side at this point.
All right, moment of truth for the ped dreamers out there.
And it is dead. We are officially in go mode. No questions asked. This is go mode for the Boulder. Just has to find that big key and go get up the tower to kill Aga 2 and kill the pig. Boulder unfortunately getting a little bullied there by the shooters in Stalfo's room in our up in there, so but gonna continue on here on the left side.
I believe he stocked up on fairies in Turtle Rock though.
Yeah. Boulder breaking out the red boomerang strats.
Yeah, I was
Nicely
thinking,
done.
yeah, I feel like you don't see the red boomerang that often from runners, so I'm actually really happy to see it. Shaking things up.
Most runners are used to, or most audiences are used to seeing the blue boomerang strats, which are pretty well known, but I have seen a lot of runners breaking out the blue strat, or the red strats now as well.
I believe the main drawback of that red meringue is the sparklies can tend to cause lag in more
Yes.
eventful screens.
Yeah, they do. It does produce a bit of lag, but we are coming up on Rando Room, and checks 10 through 13. And that's 13, but still no big key. Boulder is going to have to be careful here. Down to 3 hearts. Luckily does have those fairies, but going to go probably for the bomb jump here.
For a second, I was like, what bomb jump? You bonk over that. And then I was like, oh, yeah. What bonk?
There's 14.
Alaszun's getting deeper and deeper into Total Rock, nearing that desperately needed flippers. I saw that sprite, bunny sprite for Alaszun. I couldn't recognize that either.
That's up through 17 and still no big key. So at this point, it is down to either the compass room on the right side or tile room. And the boulder is being proactive here. Without the boots, the timing for this room is a little bit harder to get easily, so definitely a really smart play here. Pre-pushing that block, bringing out the hook shot to get across that gap even faster. Nicely done. $18, $19, number 20. There we go. There's the big key in chest number 20.
So close. Alaszun's just one room away here from go mode. Or two, wait. Now it's one.
So the boulder is beginning that GT climb. Unfortunately, no boots, so we're going to miss some great strategies on this climb, but really going to go for it. Meanwhile, Alaszun is heading into Swamp Palace for his 7th crystal now.
Making me wonder where those boots were, though, because it's not like we had that many checks left. I guess there were like a bunch of one-off locations spread around.
Yeah, we did have pretty much all of Swamp Palace. We still had the back of Turtle Rock, which is usually the item-dense portion of it. Spike Cave. I think Helma was going to have an item. But we got everything out of Ice Palace. So yeah, we were very limited in... And those blue Zizaks are just not cooperating for the boulder here. But luckily the red ones, they played a little bit nice. Gonna have to be a little careful here. Luckily has some fairies in those bottles, but down to 1 heart and really playing it safe here. Ooh. These ice rooms are brutal without boots. And yes, Pyramid Fairy is in logic, so that's another possibility for where those boots might have been. I'll be actually curious to find out where our second bow was as well. And yeah, sorry, this is the Link to the Past Randomizer main tourney, and our mode for this whole tournament is hard standard. Hard removes these silver arrows, so you will not see a single silver arrow throughout this whole tournament. The boulder breaking out that hook shot and just making sure to stun every one of those guards. That's another room that without boots is just a lot harder to pull off.
And Alaszun got the show-off diver down as well, and is off to nab their final crystal.
Yeah, the Boulder is still checking some chests. I'm wondering if maybe hoping for the boots for that last dash up to the Aga 2 room. Like I said, no boots in GT is never a fun time, and these last few rooms, there's definitely a few rooms in this that are just never a good time. And yes, no mail either, so no armor chances. So that is really just like, I think this is just boots checking.
I didn't think I think it was for that shield. I'm sure that makes all the difference, right? I think that now has the boulder maxed out. Nope, they never got a 14th heart.
Yeah, they did not find the Sanctuary Heart that we saw Alaszun find over in Palace of Darkness. I believe that was in the Dark Maze, so that is why the Boulder is only at 13 hearts. The Sanctuary Heart is actually special in this mode. It will not turn into a green 20. And yes, no Mirror Shield either. Down goes Aga 2 for the Boulder, and we are going to get to see the Big Pig, as Alaszun is just about to reach Ganon's tower as well. So not a ton of time difference. There's about a GT climb difference here. Unfortunately, you know, the plays that Alaszun made into Palace of Darkness and Killing Land Molus kind of spelling a bit of the difference here at this point. A lot of time that was sunk into those plays that just didn't pay off in this one.
And they're by no means bad calls by Alaszun. Like wanting to clear out a light world before guaranteeing that it's an Agaseed. That's a thing that I'm sure plenty of people would want to do because the Aga climb is such a pain, and if it is avoidable, it saves you lots of time.
Yeah. Definitely a lot of runners will make that call, and sometimes it pays off and sometimes it doesn't. We've seen all those kinds of things in this tournament. Pendant Pod having some item for go mode, and sometimes not, and sometimes breaking out of Agaseeds. You know, Alaszun made smart plays, it's just it didn't work out in this one tonight. Oh, that's right. We don't actually find out what the location of the second bow was. How could I be so silly?
And the boulder successfully set up Torch Glitch, so definitely not going to have too much of a struggle in terms of using magic to get all these hits on Ganon.
Setting up for doubles. Pretty safe strategy here. There is a way to get 3 Tempered Sword spins per Torchlight. You just have to be, the timing for it is pretty tight. But instead, the Boulder is just going for doubles here. There we go. The Boulder has taken down Ganon, just has to cross that 1x3 bridge and finish this seed out. And there we go. The Boulder has finished and is finished in first place with official racetime.gg time of 1:44:07. Make sure to get those GGs in chat for the Boulder. And actually, right afterwards, Alaszun did decide to forfeit on this race. Completely understandable, given how much of a time this seed was, as we are now joined by the Boulder. GG's.
GG's, thank you.
So, initial thoughts on this one?
I want to know where the boots were.
You and everybody in chat. The
Oh.
speculation was wild for that one.
Yeah, it sounded like there's a whole bunch of one-off checks that were still on the board for where boots could be, including Ped, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, that was the dream of chat for that ending. They were kind of hoping you got 1 in 22'd. So, but not this time.
I'm sure they were. I was thinking about that. I was climbing. I'm like, I just bet chat wants to see the boot or to see the GT big key on that torch.
So I have to ask, was that kind of the thought behind those upper GT checks?
Yeah, I just wanted to see where boots were. That's all I.
I was gonna say, I mean, those upper rooms, especially that
Yeah.
last ice room, is much better with boots.
I mean, there is a lot of that seed that would have been a lot better with boots. I think I could feel myself
Definitely.
slowly dying as I played through that seed.
Oh, and sorry, I didn't realize at the same time Alaszun also joined us. I'm sorry, GG's.
That's okay. GG's.
GG's, Alaszun.
That was up there with the most boring seed I've ever played.
Yeah, unfortunately, a super linear seed as you both entered into Dark World eventually.
Yeah. And I mean, I felt my Light World was super inefficient. I tried to grid really hard around Aghanim. I'm usually pretty aggressive around Aghanim, and it just feels like usually the game gives you a harder shove into Aghanim than this. Usually I'm looking for like 3 items that point at Aga, so like 3 swords or 2 swords and a cape or something like that. And this one just gave you the absolute bare minimum, which obviously can happen. But it just didn't feel like an Aga seed for so long. And then...
I had the exact opposite feeling. I'm actually normally pretty conservative when it comes to doing early Aga. But when I found the lamp and that cape up on Death Mountain, I'm like, well, let's go do Aga.
No, yeah, I thought about it, and in a lot of seeds I would have done it, but it just it just didn't feel like it, or like it was just one of those things. I think at the point I was leaving the mountain, I would have put about maybe 60% on it being an Aga seed, and the 40% I had left made me go, maybe I should investigate some of these other outs first. And I did investigate the other outs, and they were a flaming pile of doo-doo.
So I do want to ask then the Boulder on this one, because, you know, you were in Desert Palace and decided to skip Land Molus for the green pendant even, and not even also check out Sick Kid. These were kind of some of those hanging one-offs. We were really surprised.
I will be honest, I completely forgot about the boss in there when I was in there, because I was thinking it was boot locks for some reason, even though I had the big key, so I just kind of, like, as soon as I saved and quit, I'm like, shoot, I forgot to go kill the boss since it's green pendant, so I just forgot,
Okay.
but fortunately for me, it didn't hurt.
Right.
I mean, you may think it didn't hurt, but let me tell you, those 20 rupees did a lot of carrying in this seed for me.
Oh, okay. I can confirm that boots were not on pedestal. I did just check it on my end.
Yeah.
So. Oh, I guess yeah. It said in the credits as the credits were there. Yeah. Wasn't.
I was like, where did the GT big key end up? Was it behind Isarmos?
No, it was right side.
It was right side. Okay, so you would have cleared out. Actually, did you go full right?
I went left first, so I cleared out left and Isarmos, and they weren't there either.
Okay, so you did not run into the boots that way.
Yeah, the only place in GT the boots could have been was pile room, because I did check everything upstairs because I was wanting to know. I'm like, are the boots here? I know it takes a couple seconds. Maybe it'll save me like 2 seconds if I get them. I don't know.
I'm gonna be real cranky if they're an iced tea, because I intentionally fake flippered with flippers for go mode into Ice Palace, trying to knowing, hey, just about everything I have left in the game is just gonna be a lot of walking to do these checks. I'm just going to jump in here and hope that I can pull the boots here, since Ice is probably the dungeon in the game that you get the least time save from the boots. And hoped I could just kind of pull the boots on the way through, and not so much. So if they're an iced tea, because I go moded Ice.
I did check a few things as I was going through Ice Palace. I didn't check Iced Tea though.
Yeah. That's basically what I mean with go moded. That's like
I get fair point.
Those checks cost an aggregate of like what, like 20 seconds, 10 seconds.
Yeah, especially if you can do icebreaker and just go through it, and it's like, yep, might as well.
Yeah, I thought we had seen all 3 items out of ice, but I could be mistaken. I wasn't keeping
No.
perfect track. I know
No.
I see at least a heart piece and a blue cane. So
No, there's an item left in ice.
oh,
I
there
got
was?
everything.
Okay.
I have both the map compass and I have 2 keys.
Okay. Fair enough.
And apparently I didn't save after I got flippers, so I'm checking Ice T now because I want this to be personal at this point.
Yeah, because let's see, there's left side swamp. I guess there was the south chest and swamp. There's big chests and swamp. I didn't
Oh,
check
so
any
yeah.
pod, but if you checked, I'm assuming you checked.
I checked
most of
everything but
pod.
Helmasaur. Helmasaur has an
Okay.
item, but
Yeah.
it's
Did you check?
not
Did you
that.
check south of Grove, or yeah, what is it, K45?
Yep.
I didn't.
I checked that all on the way to. I checked them all on the way to turning in my purple chest. Because I basically last location that purple chest. I had that in Bombos left, and I was really hoping it was Bombos.
Yeah, I think that's about all I had at that point too.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. It was just objectively a very, very unfortunate hammer placement.
Yeah, hammer.
There's no Hera basement, by the way. Hera basement was we found both items in Hera. Sorry, I'm
Yeah,
responding to chat at this point.
that had the big key in Hera basement. We both. Well, I'm assuming you. Hera pod.
Yeah, I Hera bought it, but we got both items.
Yeah, you both pulled off the Harapot beautifully.
It's a fun trick when it works well. It's annoying when things don't align up for whatever reason and it just doesn't want to work.
Yeah, I got subpixeled my first try and had to do it again, but got it the second time. Okay, it's just something that looks like a green 20 in iced tea, so at least I don't have to be that offended.
Yeah, so I think we are really just down to Swamp and Laser Bridge are the big 2.
And Helma.
And Helma.
I think we didn't do Spike Cave?
Oh yeah, you're right. Spike Cave was also.
Oh,
and chat's also saying Pyramid Fairy, so.
Yeah. I felt pretty behind, so I was trying to cut corners. I greeted pretty hard trying to avoid that mountain climb for Turtle Rock. And was hoping I could pull the flippers without having to go up there. But even though I was pretty coming to the conclusion that it was just going to be sitting up there, but
I am really glad that avoiding pod like the plague was the right call, because I had thought about it when I found the hammer. I'm like, do I go pod or do I go Turtle Rock? And I'm like, I've seen too many seeds recently where like go mode is in pendant Turtle Rock, and so I just decided to go that way.
I think I said to myself when I found that, I'm like, okay, well, there's a pretty decent chance that he goes to pod because that was dumb. I'm gonna die here. I just died in Spike Cave. So the mystery continues. But yeah, it was just one of those things. I'm like, I think there's a decent chance you go to pod because they're both 5 items sitting there, with the major difference just being that you don't have to do the mountain climb if it's in pod. But I also definitely understand the, hey, you know what, I've avoided pod so far. Turtle Rock's a little more logically suspicious. Especially, I assume you did Zora at some point, so you saw the Ether Medallion, and so when you saw Turtle Rock wasn't Ether...
I actually never checked Zora, now that you mentioned that.
Sorry, Ether Medallion was on Zora Ledge.
Oh, okay.
So when I went up to Dark Death Mountain, I went up there hoping that I could see Ether, because I was Hammer and Flippers for Go Mode at the time, and I went up there hoping that I'd see Ether on Turtle Rock, because I knew that would tell me, well, neither the Hammer or Flippers are in here, so I can cross Turtle Rock off the list. But it was not to be. Yeah, Like I said, I greeted a really, really hard trying to avoid Akka. Which is not usually my MO, but it certainly was my MO this seed. But I mean, that happens sometimes. And I knew it was a risk, and I said, you know what, like, my opponent's probably going Aga here. Nope, not Spike Cave. This game sucks. I guess probably not also on Lumberjack Ledge.
I would hope not.
Point is, this game does not want us to have fun.
I've
No,
I've
this
had a lot of
definitely-
late boot seeds this tournament so far, and it's kind of annoying.
I don't think I've had a lot of late boot seeds. I've had a lot of terrible hammer seeds. And they're my least favorite kind of seed, so if the tournament wants to stop giving them to me, or just put me out of my misery after one more game, like, I'd be pretty cool with it at this point. Because this is just, like, I mean, if you can get hammer go mode, it's really nice. However, if you don't get hammer go mode, the number of orphans that you leave behind is just like so many, and it feels so bad at the point where you have to go back and find. Like, I mean, it kind of feels the same as getting that mirror sort of late, where you say, "Hey, you know what? Like, this feels terrible," and you know what? It was.
Here I go, checking pad like a fool, not realizing the credits have already told us told us that
Moment
is
of
not the
truth.
case.
Yeah, I have a nasty habit of forgetting to turn off my stream, so as soon as I forfeit, I just instantly shut it off. Alright. I'm going for Helmosaur at this point. We will find these dumb things. I'm mainly going for Helmosaur because I actually don't have my flippers at this point, so I have to go back through Turtle Rock.
Well, anyways, I am going to hop out of here. I do see it looks like we are scheduled for a restream tomorrow night at 9:10 Eastern on Speed Gaming 2. I'll go ahead and get that plug in there. So thank you to both of you for commentary. Thank you, Jaxie, for tracking. I hope everybody has a good night.
And hopefully
Hey,
your
man,
seed tomorrow
GG's.
won't be
Yeah.
quite
GG's
so
again.
mean.
Yeah, hopefully the seed tomorrow will not feel like I'm just sitting there playing out the string after about 45 minutes. Because I felt pretty dead as soon as pod was empty, and knew I'd
Yeah.
have to get lucky to stay alive. But
Yeah, unfortunately, that has definitely been one of those pieces. I feel like this whole tournament has been it's paid off a lot of seeds, and it's also kind of bitten a lot of people. So
I feel like about half my matches have been determined by who goes to pod or doesn't go to pod, either in the win or loss direction.
yes, I will agree that it has definitely been that way. I will say for tomorrow, just so everybody is aware of kind of what we have on the schedule, there is currently an 8 a.m. match, 8:10 a.m. over here on Speed Gaming. We have Obscure Lifeform versus Julo Ninja. At 1:10 p.m. Also on Speed Gaming, we have Top Life versus Illis. 5:10 p.m.
That'll be a good match.
Shady Force versus Wall Kicks on Speed Gaming 2. Also at 5:10 on Speed Gaming 5, we have Azazis versus Chimo. At 6:10 p.m. on Speed Gaming 4, we have Lin versus Salty Fry. And as the Boulder mentioned just a little bit ago, on Speed Gaming 2 at 9:10 p.m. will be Game 2 of this series between the Boulder and Alaszun. And then also at 9:10 p.m., we will have Game 3 between GFE and Blaine over on Speed Gaming 4. So a lot of great matches as part of round 2 coming up. There is another match also scheduled for tomorrow at 4:10 p.m. between Gamachu and In the Name of DT. Currently not set for a restream, but I did hear that there was going to be some effort to try to maybe make this happen. So there's a good mix of Game 1, 2, and 3 across these matches. So plenty of Zelda randomizer action across the day. But
should be some good ones.
I guess the question is, anything else, Alaszun, at this point, or?
Win some, lose some.
Yep.
I was due for one of these. That's all right.
Yeah, I completely understand. So just as always, Want to make sure to shout out to our runners. Make sure to give both of them a follow. Did a great job tonight. And of course, big shout outs as well to our tracker tonight, Jaxie, who, tracking is never an easy job, but did a great job helping out with this one. And then, of course, my co-commentator tonight, Xander Robotnik. And I'm going to let Xander have the last word tonight.
Sounds good. And thanks so much also for Radical Sniper co-commenting with me as well. It's been a blast. Yeah, like you said, watch tomorrow. There's plenty of randos to go around, and I'm especially excited to see how the round 2 of this race goes. Hopefully, a little more generous of a seed. Maybe some early boots to make up for what we had to experience this time. But yeah, that said, thanks everyone for watching, and have a good night, day, whatever it is for you. And we'll catch you all for some more randoing tomorrow.